The first signs of hope appeared quietly. In a hidden orbital station, a fragile Illyrian hatchling opened its luminescent eyes for the first time, the colors on its skin flickering like liquid light. It emitted soft harmonic tones, a melody so delicate that the scientists around it paused in awe. Humanity had brought back life that had been snatched away, and in that fragile moment, the enormity of what they had done sank in. The hatchling's resonance carried a warmth that no technology could replicate, a proof that life, once nurtured, could shine even after near annihilation. As the Nyxera initiative expanded, humans worked tirelessly to replicate the lost ecosystems of Illyrian's home world. Massive domes on distant moons and artificially terraformed planets recreated the glowing oceans, bioluminescent forests, and harmonic caves of Nyxera. Every detail mattered. The exact spectrum of light in the forest, the precise resonance frequencies in the air, even the microcurrents in the oceans that guided Illyrian schools through intricate dances. Humans approached it not as scientists alone, but as caretakers, artists, and poets, understanding that saving the species required more than survival. It demanded respect for beauty, complexity, and culture. Despite these triumphs, the shadow of the KLYDH loomed. Their fleets drifted silently near the outer colonies, probes scanning for signs of life. Their history of erasure was a warning that failure was not an option, yet humanity refused to yield. They built cloaking systems, misdirection signals, and rapid relocation protocols, moving entire habitats in moments when danger approached. Humans anticipated the unpredictable, adapted in ways the KLYDH could not, and in doing so, proved that ingenuity and empathy were as lethal as any weapon. The Illyrians began to respond to humanity in ways that no algorithm could have predicted. Hatchlings, once fragile and unsure, started to explore, mimicking human gestures but in their own unique, harmonic manner. They learned quickly, their color patterns shifting in joyful expressions, their melodic voices experimenting with rhythm and tone. Humans discovered that patience, care, and encouragement could spark intelligence into creativity, and soon the once-lost species was thriving, not merely surviving. Then came the first direct challenge. A KLYDH probe appeared near one of the outer colonies, scanning for Illyrian activity. Instead of confronting it with force, humans enacted an elaborate ruse. They created a decoy ecosystem, projecting artificial Illyrians and simulating harmonic patterns across the sensors. The probe transmitted back data to the KLYDH fleet, all the while believing the colony was empty of life. When it departed, humans quietly moved the real habitat to a safer location, unseen and undetected. Every success of this kind was a quiet victory, proof that intellect, creativity, and courage could outmatch raw power. Over time, the Illyrians began to flourish in ways the KLYDH could never have imagined. They learned to navigate complex environments, to communicate through intricate harmonic symphonies, and to form social structures that were playful, cooperative, and intelligent. Humans observed them with pride, often laughing at their curious experimentation. Hatchlings mimicking human expressions, elders crafting delicate structures from glowing materials, and young Illyrians inventing games entirely unique to their species. Each act of life, each innovation, was a testament to the resilience of both the species and those who had saved them. Humanity, for its part, grew through the process as well. Scientists, engineers, and caretakers learned lessons not from textbooks or simulations, but from life itself, how to nurture, adapt, and improvise. They developed methods to preserve other species, restore damaged ecosystems, and maintain balance in ways no single technology could achieve. The bond between humans and Illyrians became more than caretaker and protected. It was mutual respect, a partnership forged through compassion and intelligence. And in the quiet nights, when the glowing forest shimmered under alien stars and the harmonic songs of Illyrians filled the air, humans understood something profound. Strength was not measured in conquest, speed, or firepower. It was measured in empathy, in patience, in the courage to act when the stakes were impossible. Humanity had faced a universe that had allowed life to be erased without thought, yet they had chosen to intervene, to save, to restore. In doing so, they had proven that intelligence without compassion was incomplete, and that even in a galaxy filled with ruthless power, a species defined by ingenuity and heart could shine like a beacon. The Illyrians thrived, the colonies expanded, and the KLYDH, despite their vigilance, could not erase what humans had nurtured. For every probe that scanned the void, every fleet that drifted silently in the distance, humanity's presence remained a testament to defiance, creativity, and hope. Life had been snatched back from the edge of extinction, not through overwhelming force, but through determination, care, and a uniquely human ability to act with both intellect and heart. And as Illyrian melodies intertwined with human voices in laughter and song, it became clear to all who witnessed it. The universe may challenge humanity endlessly, but humanity would rise, not just to survive, but to protect, to preserve, and to flourish. Years passed, and the Illyrians grew stronger, more confident, and increasingly curious about the humans who had saved them. They began to experiment, their bioluminescent patterns becoming more complex, almost playful, as they mirror human gestures in ways that were unique and surprisingly creative. Hatchlings would chase each other in spiraling patterns of light, while elders taught intricate harmonic sequences that resonated to the habitats like living music. Humans watched in quiet wonder, realizing that they were witnessing not just survival, but the rebirth of culture, art, and intelligence. But the universe does not remain silent for long. The HFY had learned of the humans' intervention, and with it, their determination turned to obsession. A fleet, massive and foreboding, appeared on the edge of the human-inhabited sector, its ships like dark shadows against the stars. Every probe, every sensor, indicated that they had come to finish what they had started, to eliminate the Illyrians once and for all, and perhaps punish humanity for their audacity. Fear rippled through the scientific and defense communities, but it was accompanied by a stronger, defining resolve. Humans would not allow life to be erased while they had the power to protect it. The humans acted with a mixture of strategy, ingenuity, and daring improvisation. Entire Illyrian habitats were relocated through cloaked transport systems, hidden behind artificial asteroid belts and holographic distortions designed to confuse HFY sensors. Every colony was moved, rebuilt, and camouflaged in ways that combined human creativity with advanced technology. But even this was only part of the plan. Scientists, engineers, and tacticians collaborated to create diversions, decoy habitats, simulated Illyrian transmissions, and false bioluminescent signals meant to mislead the invaders. The HFY, though technologically superior, were caught off guard by the unpredictability of human strategy. In a daring maneuver, humans used one of the largest decoy colonies to draw the HFY fleet to a remote nebula. Cloaked ships released a series of illusions, making the aliens believe they had located the Illyrians' main population. As the fleet moved closer, humans quietly guided the real colonies to concealed jump points, moving them light years away to safety. It was a display of ingenuity, improvisation, and coordination on a scale no alien species had anticipated. Every step relied not just on technology, but on humans' unique ability to anticipate, adapt, and improvise under pressure. The first encounter between humans and the HFY fleet was not fought with overwhelming firepower, but with brilliance and audacity. Humans use the environment, the nebula's dense gas clouds, fluctuating electromagnetic fields, and unpredictable gravitational pockets, to mask movements and create illusions. The HFY, confident in their technology, found themselves misled by patterns they could not predict, chasing shadows while the real targets slipped away. It was not brute force that won the day, but human creativity, adaptability, and relentless determination. Meanwhile, the Illyrians themselves began to flourish in the newly protected habitats. Their harmonic languages grew more sophisticated, their interactions more playful, and their culture began to develop anew. They observed humans with curiosity, sometimes mimicking human expressions and laughter, other times creating entirely novel patterns of communication. Humans had not only saved them from extinction, they had given them a second chance to thrive, unbound by the mistakes and destruction of the past. As the HFY finally realized the futility of the pursuit, they retreated, leaving the humans and Illyrians in a galaxy that had been, for a moment, threatened by erasure but had endured through courage, creativity, and compassion. Humans had proven that intelligence alone is not enough. Protection, empathy, and the ability to act unpredictably in the face of overwhelming odds are what truly define a species' greatness. And so, life on the newly restored colonies continued. Illyrians grew, played, and learned in environments that reflected both their lost home and the ingenuity of those who saved them. Humans remained vigilant, guardians not through domination, but through understanding, care, and imagination. The galaxy had witnessed the improbable. A species that had been erased was reborn, not by chance, but by the uniquely human combination of courage, empathy, and brilliance. The Illyrians thrived in their new homes, their bioluminescent patterns brighter than ever, their harmonic voices forming symphonies that echoed across the dome habitats. Humans had not only saved the species, they had nurtured it, taught it, and inspired it to reclaim its lost beauty. And yet, the galaxy's trials were never truly over. The HFY, though defeated in that encounter, remained a looming threat, a reminder that life could be threatened at any moment. Humanity understood that protection was not a single act, but a continuous responsibility. It was during one quiet cycle, while Illyrians danced beneath simulated Nixra skies and humans walked among them, that a new challenge emerged. A rogue HFY probe, smaller and stealthier than before, infiltrated a colony, scanning for anomalies. It was the perfect test for human ingenuity. Instead of responding with panic, humans used the probe as a teaching moment for themselves and for the Illyrians. They orchestrated a series of countermeasures that combined deception, improvisation, and strategic misdirection. Holographic Illyrians were projected across the habitat. False harmonic signals were sent, and intricate decoy structures were deployed. The probe, confused by patterns it could not predict or interpret, ultimately malfunctioned and retreated. Humans realized something profound in that moment. Victory was not about power, but about understanding and creativity. The HFY relied on domination and destruction, predictable and direct. Humanity relied on adaptability, empathy, and imagination, qualities no alien intelligence could fully anticipate. It was a lesson that would shape not just the protection of the Illyrians, but the very identity of humanity itself. With the threat contained, humans and Illyrians began to explore the possibilities of partnership. The Illyrians' harmonic communication, once limited to their species, began to interact with human languages, creating entirely new forms of art and expression. Humans learned to interpret Illyrian tones not merely as sound, but as emotion and intent. Together, they devised games, performances, and experiments that no single species could have conceived alone. Humanity had not only saved a species, they had elevated it, and in doing so, elevated themselves. Years turned into decades. Illyrian colonies spread across carefully chosen star systems, their culture flourishing alongside human settlements. Humans and Illyrians shared knowledge freely. Humans offered technology and strategy. Illyrians offered art, intuition, and ways of perceiving the universe that humans had never imagined. Together, they built a community that was resilient, vibrant, and inspiring, a beacon to the rest of the galaxy that intelligence, compassion, and creativity were inseparable. The HFY, observing from afar, recognized that this was a species they could not control, could not intimidate, and could not erase. Humanity had succeeded not through overwhelming might, but through qualities that could never be replicated or predicted. Courage, empathy, ingenuity, and the unwavering belief that life, no matter how fragile or exotic, was worth saving. In the final confrontation that mattered, humans had already won. They had shown that true power is not the ability to destroy, but the ability to preserve, nurture, and elevate life against all odds. And so, under alien stars on restored planets, humans and Illyrians lived in a partnership defined by hope, resilience, and boundless creativity. The songs of the Illyrians intertwined with human laughter, the lights of their bioluminescence blending with the glow of human settlements. Every melody, every playful gesture, every improvisation became a reminder. The universe may erase, it may dominate, but it cannot extinguish the courage, ingenuity, and compassion that define humanity. In the end, a species thought lost forever had returned, not through luck, not through strength alone, but through the uniquely human capacity to care, to innovate, and to fight for what is right. The Illyrians thrived, humanity flourished, and the galaxy had witnessed the extraordinary truth. When humans decide to protect life, nothing, not even the vast, indifferent cosmos, can prevail against them. Decades passed, and the Illyrians became fully integrated into a shared interstellar community with humans. They were no longer fragile creatures hidden in domes. They danced openly in glowing cities, created harmonic art in vast amphitheaters, and explored planets alongside their human allies. Every day, humans marveled at their resilience and ingenuity, realizing that they had not just saved a species. They had given the universe proof that life could endure, flourish, and even thrive after facing total annihilation. The HFY, distant and observing, finally retreated from the regions humans now safeguarded. Their attempt to dominate, erase, or intimidate had been repeatedly outmaneuvered. They were formidable, ancient, and ruthless, but they had underestimated one essential truth. Humans were unpredictable, imaginative, and fiercely compassionate. Where the HFY relied on rigid logic and brute force, humans had leveraged creativity, empathy, and adaptability. It was a lesson written across the stars. Intellect alone does not guarantee survival. Courage and heart do. Humanity had also changed. The experience of saving the Illyrians had forged a new identity, a species aware not only of its own power, but of its responsibility. Across colonies and Earth alike, humans applied these lessons to other worlds and species, protecting fragile ecosystems, reviving dying planets, and standing as guardians of life wherever possible. Empathy had become a weapon more potent than any fleet or weapon system, and ingenuity a shield against the threats of an indifferent universe. In quiet moments, humans and Illyrians would gather beneath simulated Nyxera skies, watching the twin suns set across luminescent forests recreated from memory. The Illyrians would emit soft harmonic tones. Humans would laugh or hum in response. And together they create a symphony of life that no force in the galaxy could replicate. It was a celebration of survival, of resilience, and of the bond between species that had been forged in the face of near extinction. The story of humanity saving the Illyrians spread to the galaxy, whispered by traders, observed by distant civilizations, and recorded in the annals of interstellar history. It became legend. A species thought fragile, inconsequential, or doomed had been protected by humans. And in doing so, humans had shown what it truly meant to be great. Strength was not measured by the ability to destroy, but by the ability to preserve. Intelligence was not measured by domination, but by understanding. And courage was not measured in victory in battle, but in the willingness to act when life itself is at stake. In the end, the Illyrians thrived, humans flourished, and the galaxy bore witness to a truth that could never be erased. When humans choose to fight for life, no power, no fleet, no ancient force can stop them. They had taken a species from the brink of erasure and restored it to beauty, culture, and harmony. They had faced the cold calculus of the universe, and had responded not with fear, but with compassion, creativity, and unwavering courage. The galaxy would remember not just the survival of the Illyrians, but the legacy of humanity, a species capable of turning hope into action, of transforming tragedy into triumph, and of proving that even in a vast, indifferent cosmos, life could endure when humans chose to protect it. And under the glow of alien suns, amidst forests of shimmering light and songs that echoed across the stars, humanity and the Illyrians lived on. Proof that heroism, intelligence, and heart together could rewrite the fate of an entire species, and perhaps in time, the destiny of the galaxy itself. As the Illyrians grew, humans realized that their role had shifted from saviors to collaborators. They no longer simply protected the species. They helped them explore, create, and adapt in ways even the original Nyxera could not have anticipated. Entire cities of bioluminescent structures began to rise within the domed habitats, built jointly by human engineers and Illyrian architects. Light and sound intertwined in flowing patterns, each building a symphony of culture and ingenuity. Humans walked among them, observing, learning, and laughing at the unexpected creativity of the Illyrians, whose ideas often surpassed even the most imaginative human designs. Human children, visiting the colonies with scientists and caretakers, formed friendships with Illyrian hatchlings. They played games that no single species had invented alone, improvising rules as they went along, creating laughter and melodies that filled the air. The Illyrians' harmonic tones intertwined with human voices in songs and stories, forming a unique language of shared emotion and understanding. It was an ecosystem of life, not just biological but cultural, a living testament to what could flourish when species worked together rather than against each other. Yet the shadow of the HFY remained, a reminder that vigilance was never optional. Occasionally, probes appeared at the edge of explored space, scanning colonies with cold precision. But humans had learned to think in ways the HFY could not. They created false signals, mirrored harmonic communications, and decoy habitats that misled the invaders. Each probe that failed, each attempt that was outwitted, became a silent victory, a proof that intellect, creativity, and unpredictability were the true tools of survival. The KLYTH could destroy planets, but they could not erase what humans nurture with care and ingenuity. In one particularly daring operation, humans relocated an entire Illyrian colony through an unstable wormhole, a feat no alien fleet could anticipate or intercept. The hatchlings were carried in protective biomes, and the older Illyrians moved with them, guided by the humans' precise coordination. The operation took weeks of planning and improvisation, blending scientific calculation with human intuition. When the last transport successfully arrived on a distant, safe planet, the humans and Illyrians celebrated not just survival, but triumph, a quiet, profound victory born of perseverance and courage. Over time, the Illyrians began to teach humans lessons of their own. Their harmonic language, once limited to basic communication, evolved into complex symphonies that conveyed emotion, history, and abstract concepts. Humans learned to interpret patterns, anticipate shifts in tone, and even compose alongside them. The partnership became a mutual exchange. Humans provided protection, strategy, and guidance, while Illyrians offered creativity, sensitivity, and perspectives that humans had never experienced. Together, they formed a community greater than the sum of its parts, a living testament to cooperation, resilience, and the extraordinary potential of life. And as humanity looked out the colonies at the forests of glowing light, the harmonic songs filling the air, they understood something deeper than survival. True strength lay not in force or domination, but in empathy, ingenuity, and the willingness to act for life itself. By saving a species that had been erased, humans had proven not only their courage, but their capacity to shape the universe in a way that honored beauty, creativity, and the enduring spark of sentience. The Illyrians thrived, humans flourished, and together they stood as a beacon of hope in a galaxy that had often seemed indifferent, proving that life, no matter how fragile, was always worth protecting.